Welcome to Game Theorem, where we have serious discussions about absurd entertainment.
There's no need to change the past. Because of the past, we are who we are now. Every second, every action from then is linked to us here and now. Gray Fullbuster, the Ice Maker.
I'm Kira.
I'm Kyle.
And we're doing Fairy Tale again.
Yes, woohoo! We're doing our round of fourth revisits for some of our long-running revisit series that we've been covering.
Yep.
And, we're over halfway with Fairy Tale, so maybe it'll be like 7 in total. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But, we are going to be doing Fairy Tale again, so I hope you like Fairy Tale.
Are we starting with the Key of the Starry Sky arc?
Yes. Now, any triggers are probably going to be like violence and some promiscuity. Nothing too major. I don't know if we're going to have to... Do we usually mark Fairy Tale as explicit? I think we usually do.
I'm not sure.
I'll find out later. Just refrain from cursing to be safe.
Okay.
What else? What was I going to say?
Oh, the Lucy kidnap counter is currently at 5.
Oh, yeah, and she gets naked a few times, so... Yeah, this is probably going to be explicit, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So anyway, there's your warning. And I still maintain Fairy Tail is better than Dragon Ball.
I can agree with that.
People might find that controversial, but there's just so much more character, even if that character development is always relegated to the past.
The best version of Dragon Ball Z is the abridged.
It's funnier.
Yeah.
Anyway, so... we are going to be doing Fairy Tale. Last time we left off, the main heroes of the Guild of Fairy Tale, they're magic wizards and whatnot, they were frozen in time for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And they were just released. And so they have to kind of get used to the world again. Mm-hmm. And that's where we're going to pick up. Now, just as a recap, like Lucy's father's dead now. All the other characters are 7 years older, and then Mavis, the original founder of Fairy Tale, her ghost is kind of just hanging out now. Mm-hmm. Oh, and they're on their 4th master now.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Did Makarov come back and take the position?
No, he wanted to retire, so he's like, "Yeah, this is fine." Makayo's the master now.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now we're gonna be on the Key of the Starry Sky arc. You want to go first, Kira?
Yep. All right. Jackpot began destroying churches looking for pieces of the infinity clock.
Oh, yeah. Brain 2, remember, he used to go by Midnight, but he's created the reborn Arashian Sace. Mm-hmm. He sent Imitatia to Fairy Tale with a piece of the infinity clock. She disguised herself as Michelle Lobster, a cousin of Lucy. She used this as an opportunity to get close to her. So she's pretending to be Lucy's long-lost cousin.
Mm-hmm. Michelle gave Lucy the piece of the infinity clock and is invited to live with her.
So Teen, Natsu, and that's Natsu, Gray, Urza, Lucy, and Happy. Yeah, they all went on a job to go catch some bandits, as you do. And
Team Natsu won.
Laki... she's one of the Fairy Tale members. Laki Olieta reported on Michelle Lobster as Makayo sent her to look into the Lobster family.
And Laki has wood magic.
Yeah. So basically Makayo, he's not a powerful wizard at all. Fairy Tale's reputation has gone downhill by this point. But he is smart enough to know that this seems a little suspicious.
And so he sends one of the Fairy Tale members to go investigate.
Yep.
All right, so Lahar investigated the destruction of the churches, but was mystified by what he found.
Remember, he's a government official. Mm-hmm. Lucy officially requested the guild to help her solve the mystery of the infinity clock piece. Like, what it was for. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The piece was dropped and runes appeared on it, but no one could decipher them yet.
Urza and Gray went on a job to retrieve some stolen gold, and Juvia followed them. They're just doing regular jobs by this point. No one has some big quest arc.
Mm-hmm. Gray versus Vanish Brothers. Gray won.
Natsu and Gajiel both found Loxus and challenged him to a fight. They agreed to fight in a public park the next day.
Fairy Tale had a party in honor of the duel.
Because remember, Loxus has kind of earned some goodwill since his betrayal. Mm-hmm. Lucy and Levy eventually deciphered the runes on the piece, which reminded Lucy of a story about an ancient clock. Like a story, like an actual storybook.
Luxus knocked Natsu out in one punch, and Gagio ran away instead of fighting.
That's funny. So Panther Lily, Carla, and Happy were the only ones at the guild when the Earthland versions of Sugar Boy, Coco, and Mary Hughes, who were members of Zentopia's Legion Corps, arrived to take the clock piece from Lucy. So we say Earthland versions because we've met all those characters in the Daedalus arc in the alternate universe. But since most of the people in Daedalus were alternate universe versions of these characters, now we finally get to see these versions of the characters. And the only notable real difference is that Hughes is a woman in this universe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know, like, it's gender bending in a way. So cool, I guess. But yeah, everyone's really surprised that Hughes is a woman now. And Zentopia, that's the church, right?
Yeah, that's the churches that have been burned.
So they're
out.
basically crusaders. They're religious soldiers.
So various fairy tale members versus Sugar Boy, Coco, and Mary. The Legion Corps won.
Lucy and Michelle ran away, but were eventually stopped by Mary.
Taurus and Scorpio versus Mary. Mary won.
Natsu, Happy, Panther Lily, Wendy, and Carla went to go try to find Lucy and Michelle.
Oh, hey, since Mary... Oh, never mind. Earthland Byro appeared to help the others in the Legion Corps.
Yeah, so he's like their boss. Now, remember in the other universe, Byro is like the assistant advisor to the king. In this universe, he's like the big commander of the Legion Corps for the church. He's also a lot younger and a lot more fit. Oh, his magic is like nullification magic.
It is?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember the specifics of how it works. But he's very powerful, basically. Natsu and Happy versus Sugar Boy. Natsu won.
Gildarts versus Byro. Neither won.
A tie. Lucy handed over the clock piece to Mary. She signaled the others that their mission was completed and the Legion all left.
Lahar and part of the Magic Council's army were all knocked out by Jackpot.
Makeo sent Gildarts out on a mission. What mission? We all know?
No, I guess.
Or did we find out later?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Should we increase the Lucy kidnap counter for when Mary took her and Michelle? Because I remember Mary, like, taking her and Michelle with her or until Lucy would give up the clock piece.
All right, so that makes it go to 6 then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so Team Natsu went to Heartfilia Mansion to try to get more information on the clock piece.
They found a book called The Key of the Starry Heavens, which contained the locations of the other clock pieces. So, like, turns out the answers were in a children's storybook all along.
Samuel and Dan Strait of the Legion Corps appeared and demanded the book.
Natsu, Urza, and Gray versus Dan. Neither won, but Dan turned Natsu tiny with his magic.
Sam got the book and memorized it using the Gale Force reading glasses, then gave it back to Lucy.
Yeah, those are like magic glasses Lucy would usually use to read the book quickly, or books quickly. So Fairy Tail split into groups to try to retrieve the remaining clock pieces. They wanted to go get them all before the Legion did, so, they all split up.
Panther Lily led Jet, Joy, and Levy to find Gagil, and they all go after a clock piece inside a mountain.
Panther Lily fought Samuel, and Panther Lily won. Oh, we didn't mention Samuel's an Exceed cat, just like Panther Lily, Happy, and Carla.
Gray and Juvia are joined by Leon, and they go to some ruins.
Gray, Juvia, and Leon versus Sugar Boy. Gray, Juvia, and Leon won, obviously.
Natsu, Lucy, Happy, Michelle, and Romeo take a ship to a desert where they entered an ancient church.
Remember, Romeo was the young boy who's now kind of entering his teenage years. He likes Natsu and fire. He's Makeo's son.
Yep.
Just little reminders, because I know there's a lot of characters to keep track of.
Yeah.
Natsu and Romeo versus Dan. Natsu and Romeo won.
Natsu, Lucy, and Romeo versus Byro. None of them won.
Urza, Wendy, Carla, and Kana went to an ancient library to find a clock piece.
They encounter the Jigglebutt gang, but ultimately find the piece and bring it to Lucy's group.
I don't even want to. Why?
Don't want to talk about it.
You know what? I'm gonna say something about it.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something about it. There's so many female characters that dress down and are basically nudists in Fairy Tale, but you have a group of men that actively show off their butts. And they're played as a gag and humor when women are literally doing the same thing and it's not considered comedic at all. Mm-hmm. So you know what, Jigglebutt Gang, don't let them put you down. You show off those butts. If the women get to, you get to too.
Mara Jane, Lizana, and Elfman go to find a clock piece in a lake.
Mara Jane versus Mary, Mara Jane won.
All of the Fairy Tale groups meet up at Lucy's location with the clock pieces.
The Infinity Clock comes together and rings out across Fiore, which causes panic at the Zootopia Church. So the pieces all come together, and it creates this giant contraption.
Mm-hmm. The reborn Arashian Sace appeared, revealing their plan to construct the Infinity Clock all along.
Yeah, so basically, it's the whole plot of, like, thank you for doing this for us. We wanted you to do that.
Yep, so basically Fairy Tale did their job for them.
Yep. So Lahar informed the Magic Council of the Arashian Sace's prison break and that a priest of Zootopia had helped them to escape.
I'm going to say also that Fairy Tale, literally went against the people who were trying to stop this from happening.
Yeah, so, the government the government officials knew what they were doing?
Well, not the government officials. They were from the Zootopia Church.
Oh, so the religious orthodoxy officials.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good for you, church?
Well, the church was kind of founded, I don't know
They're kind of like watchdogs over this piece of technology.
Yeah, so I think their whole purpose was to avoid this happening, and then Fairy Tale went and made it happen.
Happening again in the Distant Past episode. It happened once before.
Oh, yeah. All right, so various Fairy Tale members versus the reborn Arashian Sace. The Arashian Sace won.
Blue Pegasus rescued the Fairy Tale members, and they went back to their guild.
The Legion Corps members made it back to Zootopia Church.
Cardinal Lapointe was the only one who was allowed to speak to the Archbishop at the church.
Coco is imprisoned in the Zootopia Church for betrayal because she was nice to Lucy.
She didn't even do anything. She was just kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Lapointe gathered the Legion Corps and introduced them to Gutman Kubrick, who was to join them on a new mission. He was basically this mass murderer and destroyer who was locked away in the religious prison, which is weird. You'd think they'd be in the Magic Council. Maybe actually his crimes weren't murder. I don't know if they ever specified.
I don't know either.
It might have been heresy.
Maybe.
Anyway, he's one of those pixel magic users, so he doesn't even look human.
Mm-hmm. Levy figured out that Will Neville was a celestial wizard who had many disciples and was a cardinal of Zootopia Church.
And Will Neville was the one who wrote that storybook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they also found out that the reborn Arashian Sace and the Legion Corps members were targeting churches again in order to kill these disciples, because doing so would release the Infinity Clock's true power, which was sealed away with magic in these disciples. So the Legion Corps, they're supposed to be preventing this, but because Cardinal Lapointe is secretly working with the Arashian Sace, both groups are basically working to the same end.
Mm-hmm. Kana woke up from a nap and, influenced by Brain 2 to make bad predictions, uses her fortune telling to put teams together and send them to the locations of the churches that are being attacked.
Yeah, so basically they make matchup teams that are supposed to be guaranteed for success, and they're completely ridiculous, right? I think one is Freed and Windy or something like that.
I don't know, we'll see.
But yeah, it turns out that it was all sabotage. Lahar gets Dorenbolt to help him investigate Zootopia and why Cardinal Lapointe freed the Arashian Sace.
Natsu, Elfman, and Lucy were sent to a church being destroyed by Jackpot.
Aquarius, Cancer, Elfman, and Natsu versus Jackpot, and Natsu won.
Urza, Max, and Evergreen encountered Cobra.
Urza, Max, and Evergreen versus Cobra. Cobra fled.
Happy, Carla, and Panther Lily met Samuel, who changed his mind and decided to help them.
Yeah, so Samuel, who's been a thorn in our side, basically realized, hey, I think like the Legion Corps is actually doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do. Something's fishy about the leadership, so I'm going to be on the good guy side now.
Yeah.
Gaziel and Juvia were sent to a church destroyed by Mary and Gutman then attacked Mary for being weak, and she turned on him. Oh, it turns out having this, like, horrible prisoner on your side was not the best thing.
Gaziel and Juvia versus Gutman. Gaziel won.
Wendy and Bixlow encountered the Grim Reaper, Aragorn.
Yeah, Wendy and Bixlow versus Grim Reaper. Wendy won by restoring his memories.
Gray and Freed encountered Angel in a cavern, and she summoned an angel named Shamsiel. Remember, she had replaced her celestial magic with this, like, life-piercing and bartering angel magic. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Bayonetta or like Lovecraftian in a way.
Yeah. Gray and Freed versus Shamsiel. Shamsiel won.
Gildarts and Loki's mission revealed that Michelle was not actually Michelle and informed the rest of the guild of this. They found the real Michelle Lobster, who had no knowledge of Lucy, and Lucy, like, it was a completely different person.
Yeah, she was, like, put to sleep in a tomb or something.
She was in a coma.
Mm-hmm. Lahar and Doranbolt met with one of the disciples of Will Neville, Katja, who's attacked by Racer.
Doranbolt versus Racer. Racer won.
Alzak and Biska decided to go after Brain 2 since no one was assigned to that church.
Alzak and Biska versus Brain 2. Brain 2 won.
Samuel takes the other Xyz to a destroyed church and challenges Panther Lily.
Panther Lily versus Samuel. Panther Lily won. Wait, what? So did they just not get the message they were on the same side? I think that was what it was.
I don't know. Despite Fairy Tale fighting them, the Arashianses complete their mission to kill the disciples of Will Neville and release the true power of the Infinity Clock.
Okay, so now it's fully activated. The power is Real Nightmare, that's what it's called. And it distorts time and made people think that they were losing their sense of self. Like, it's like reality is coming apart. And it's like end days out there. Like, it's like everything's warpy and black and like it's like eternally night. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Jackpot revealed he is Cloadoa.
He was?
Jackpot revealed he was Cloadoa, and Imitatia revealed herself. They knocked out Natsu and Lucy, kidnapping them. K7.
So yeah, Imitatia's like, ha, you thought I was your cousin, but I was actually a doll brought to life, so I will take off my clothes. Yeah. She walks around half naked. And Natsu was imprisoned in Zootopia with the Jigglebutt gang, and they try to escape.
Brain 2 sets Lucy to be sacrificed so the Arashianses could take control of the real nightmare power.
Archaeologists who helped Lucy before showed up at Fairy Tale and gave Urza a hammer that was said to banish all evil.
Ichia came with Christina at Kana's request to take the Fairy Tale members to the Infinity Clock and save Lucy.
So they're riding on the airship.
Yep.
Racer attacked the Christina.
Mara Jane versus Racer. Mara Jane won.
Natsu, Coco, and the Jigglebutt gang all escaped their confinement.
The Jigglebutt gang was kicked out of Zootopia by Gutman, who then attacked Natsu and Coco, but Mary appeared to stall Gutman.
Gutman versus Mary, neither won.
Gildarts and Loki snuck into the Archbishop's room, revealing that he was being mind-controlled by Cardinal Lapointe.
Yes, so Lapointe is literally running the whole church at this point. At this Lapointe, get it? Get it?
You're terrible.
Yeah. So Byro sent his giant octopus Kenaloa to attack Christina.
Ichia got the other Fairy Tale and Blue Pegasus wizards off Christina as it crashed.
Byro turned on Lapointe after learning that the Archbishop was being mind-controlled.
Byro and Gildarts versus Lapointe. Byro and Gildarts won.
Byro went to kill Lucy, believing it to be the only way of stopping the Infinity Clock. Since she was being used as a sacrifice, Well, she had to be alive. It had to be a living sacrifice. So if he killed her before it was ready, then it wouldn't work.
Gildarts versus Byro. Gildarts won.
Fairy Tale broke into teams to find Lucy.
Lockie, Warren, Happy, Carla, Panther, Lily, and Wendy go try to heal the Archbishop, and eventually Wendy succeeded.
Oh, we didn't mention that when LaPointe lost, like, he was just a doll, a copy of Zero, right? So he went back to being just a tuft of hair, a doll.
Yeah, because Brain 2 made him into him.
So Coco, Natsu, Gray, Urzi, Elfman, and Gajiel went to the Infinity Clock to save Lucy.
Happy deduced that they could stop the Infinity Clock by defeating all of the reborn Arashi and Sace members, and the group who went to save Lucy received this information from Warren's telepathy.
Warren is just the phone of Fairy Tale, basically.
Yep.
So this is weird, though, that you could defeat the Arashi and Sace members. Like, how that seemed to come out of nowhere.
Well, I think it was because they were the ones activating it, so by defeating them, you have no one trying to activate it anymore, and so it just stops.
All right. Urza fought Cobra, and Urza won.
Gray versus Barakil, Ragel, and Angel. Gray won.
Gajiel versus Brain 2 and Clodoa. Brain 2 won.
Natsu, Elfman, Romeo, and Coco versus Imitatia. Brain 2 turned her back into a doll.
Because she was having, like, hesitation and second thoughts. And so, yeah, now she's back into a doll again. Remember, the doll's original name was Gonzalez, so that's her real name.
Yeah.
The Archbishop communicated through Warren's telepathy that if the chains tethering the Infinity Clock were destroyed, they could save Lucy. Keep in mind, he's not mind-controlled anymore because they discovered that. So the remaining Fairy Tale members and the Legion Corps members worked together to destroy the chains.
Natsu versus Brain 2. Natsu won.
Lucy was fully absorbed by the clock, but Levy found out that Lucy could undo the spells on the disciples of Will Neville that protected the clock, and that the clock would scatter into pieces again.
Lucy did this and was returned to normal. She took the doll Gonzalez with her when she went home.
All members of the reborn Arashi and Sace were taken into custody, except for Cobra.
Kanana found Cobra, and he refused to tell her the truth of who he was, instead going quietly with Lahar and Doran Bolt to be imprisoned.
Now, if you remember the significance of that, Kanana used to be a snake. She was cursed and was a snake named Cubelios. But after the Arashi and Sace were originally defeated, Fairy Tale took her in. And Makarov turned her back into a human. So now that Cobra broke out, and like he finally gets to see Kanana for the first time as a human, and seeing her happy and as a human and not forced to be a snake anymore, he willingly gave up. He was like, okay, that's all I wanted. And he refused to tell her who he was, even though she really wanted to know, because she's like, I know you from somewhere. And he didn't want to tell her that, like, the man that took care of her whole life and provided for her was also a horrible criminal.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Legion Corps formally apologized to Fairy Tale and were sent on a mission to seal away the clock pieces for good.
Wow, that took half the episode. That took half our podcast episode, that one arc.
It was a long arc.
I don't think we've had one that was that long before.
And the Lucy kidnap counter is up to 7 now.
7, not 8?
Yeah, 7.
All right.
Because Mary took her and Michelle, and then she was kidnapped again to be put into the Infinity Clock.
Okay. Well, next we have a little mini arc, what we call the Rave arc. It's basically a crossover between Fairy Tale and this other anime called Rave, which we don't plan on ever doing an episode of since we never watched it, and I don't know if we ever would want to.
Yeah.
So, let's do this.
All right.
Natsu, Lucy, and Happy took a job to capture a female wizard who was wearing a heart cross symbol who was causing havoc at a casino.
Lucy and Happy were looking for Natsu when they ran into a girl named Ellie, who was also looking for a friend of hers.
Natsu was suffering from his motion sickness when he met Haru, who is the friend Ellie was looking for, and he tried to help Natsu.
Lucy and Ellie found some of Ellie's other traveling companions, Griffin Kato, which is a weird sort of slime creature, and another Plu.
Natsu told Haru about the job he's on, and Haru suspected they were after Ellie, who was wearing the heart cross symbol.
Haru versus Natsu, neither won as Urza stopped it.
Lucy and Happy began to suspect Ellie was the wizard they were supposed to be looking for, but couldn't decide what to do about it when they heard explosions at the casino.
The explosions were from Natsu and Haru fighting, but Urza separated and beat them up.
Lucy, Happy, and Ellie all went to the casino and found Natsu, Haru, and Urza.
Lucy explained to Ellie that Natsu was their friend, and they all cleared up the misunderstanding, as Urza was the wizard the job was talking about.
She had a heart cross symbol on her?
She was wearing a bunny outfit that happened to have a heart cross symbol on it.
Was it a heart cross symbol or like a hole for cleavage?
No, it was the symbol, but
Okay.
it was at the top of her bunny outfit.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
The casino owner went and asked them to deal with the living slot machine that was causing havoc.
They all found out that Clodoa returned using an improved jackpot, and then he released coin soldiers into the city.
Yeah, see, these rave characters like Haru and Ellie and whatnot, they use these things called like the Dark Shadow Gears or something like that. And that's what their whole arc and quest is about. And apparently it takes place in the same world as Fairy Tail. So Clodoa returns as Jackpot 2. Mm-hmm. And he combines Earthland magic with Shadow Gears to become even more powerful.
Oh,
and
I see.
None of them remember him. They're like, oh no, it's you! I mean, oh no, they don't say that, sorry. They go, oh no, we gotta go fight this person! And he goes, the villain responds, oh yeah, I will defeat you this time. Like, wait, we fought before? What are you talking about? This is like the third time we fought. Mm-hmm. I don't remember. My name is Jackpot 2! Was there a Jackpot 1? Yes!
Alright, so Natsu and Haru fought Jackpot while the others teamed up to fight the coin soldiers.
Natsu and Haru versus Jackpot. Natsu and Haru won.
In other parts of the city, Fairy Tail members teamed up with some of Haru and Ellie's other companions to fight coin soldiers.
Natsu and Haru caused all the coin soldiers to disappear when they defeated Jackpot.
Okay, so Natsu, Lucy, Urza, Wendy, Gray, Juvia, and Happy parted with Ellie, Haru, Musica, Let, and Julia as unlikely friends.
Who would never meet again. Next.
Yeah. Those were the other people that they fought the coin soldiers with.
The Grand Magic Games arc.
Oh my god, this is such a long arc.
I don't. Will it be as long as Key of the Starry Skies?
I don't know.
If it is, it doesn't feel like it because it's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's much less filler. You know, a lot of people have real issues with filler and they really hate filler. I don't think filler is bad. Maybe if we have like another anime podcast episode, we could talk about this. But I think filler is just opportunity to add more content. And if you're lazy and you don't try, of course it could be very bad, like mind-dribbling content. But you could use it to actually add something and make good extra content to a show you already like. Mm-hmm. So I don't hate Key of the Starry Sky. I think it actually added a lot of characterization by reusing existing characters. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, next arc. Gildarts succeeded Makarov as the 5th Master of Fairy Tail, and he reinstated Loxus as a member.
Wait a second, I thought Macau was still the guild master.
No, Macau was the 4th guild master, and he felt that like with all the more powerful members that returned, that he should pass on the title to someone else. So he made Gildarts the 5th master, because Gildarts was the most powerful wizard in Fairy Tail.
Okay.
And Gildarts made Loxus a member. He reinstated Loxus, who had been excommunicated for his betrayal. But since Loxus came back into their good grace, he reinstated him. Mm-hmm. And then Gildarts immediately passes leadership back to Makarov as the 6th Master of Fairy Tail, since he didn't want the job.
So now Makarov is guild master again.
Makarov was the 3rd and 6th guild master, and he's like, I am 100 years old. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I thought it was going to actually have character development. I thought, he might retire and get to do something else with his life. No. I would have liked Gildarts to be in charge.
I know, right?
I mean, he didn't have the responsibility, but he could have worked towards that.
He didn't even really have to do any duties. Like,
Yeah, the members are so competent. Besides, Mira Jane does all the hard work anyway.
I know.
All right, so Makarov's friend Porliusica conferred with Grandini, the dragon that Wendy had, and gave Wendy some information on Sky Dragon Slayer techniques. But wait, Grandini's not around. Oh no, this was like in the past because Porliusica used to be a dragon. So basically, she's like, "Oh yeah, I knew her. So Wendy, let me teach you some wind dragon techniques."
That's not the full story.
Oh, then what is it? You didn't write enough information here.
Well, because you find out later. So it'll be in here later.
Oh, so she actually did meet.
Like, you'll find out later.
No, tell me now.
Okay, so from what I remember, Porliusica was actually Edelus's version of Grandini.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So this is a lie that you wrote down.
No, this is what happened.
No, it's just Porliusica used her knowledge as the alternate universe Grandee to give Wendy information on the Sky Dragon Slayer
Well,
technique.
this is what she tells them. You find out later that she actually was a different version of Grandini.
Porliusica used her knowledge as the alternate universe version of Grandini to give Wendy information on Sky Dragon Slayer techniques and lied to her, telling her that she hadn't met Grandini.
Okay, fine. So Fairy Tail decided to enter the X791 Grand Magic Games to win back the money for a new guild hall. They began to train and prepare for 3 months.
Because the place they're currently living in is just completely abhorrent. The rent is extremely high for the place of such terrible quality.
Oh yeah, aren't they still in that barn?
Yeah,
Okay.
because Fairy Tail, remember, they hit hard times without their strongest members. They weren't able to get work. So while training, Virgo invited Team Natsu, Wendy, Carla, and Levi, to the Celestial Spirit World under the Celestial Spirit King's dominion for a celebration on their return from the 7 years they were missing.
Upon returning back to training, they found that time moved faster in the Celestial Spirit World, and they lost 3 more months, leaving them little time to train before the games.
Yeah, so they spent the whole 3 months to train on one single party night. So during that time, Jalal, Meredy, and Ultier formed an independent guild called Crime Sorcière, with the purpose of undoing evil deeds of dark guilds and their past crimes. For the record, it's a bit of word trickery. Magic guilds are endorsed by the Kingdom of Fiore and the Magic Council, right?
Yeah.
Dark guilds are simply guilds that have not been registered. They are illegitimate, okay? This guild, Crime Sorcière, is an illegitimate guild.
Yeah.
But they call it, oh, well, no, we're an independent guild. We're not a dark one because we go after the dark ones.
Yeah.
But, of course, if you ask the government, they'd be like, no, you're a dark guild, too, that just preys on other dark guilds. So they're like outlaws. They are operating outside the law, but
They're
believe...
more like vigilantes.
Vigilantes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a better way of saying it.
All right, so Crime Sorcière offered those Fairy Tail members that missed their training to increase their magic immediately without training in exchange for promising to investigate the Grand Magic Games while they were there.
Ultier used her Arc of Time on them to unleash their second origin, which doubled their magic capacity that they could store in their bodies.
Urza and Jalal came to an agreement not to be together until Jalal felt he atoned.
Oh yeah, this was kind of sad because this is the first time Urza and Jalal had seen each other since he was imprisoned. And he broke out with the rest of them. So they're like, oh, let's kiss. And then right at the last second, they don't because they're like, I haven't earned it yet. I have to make up for all the children I enslaved in brutal dictatorships and trying to revive the most evil person in history. I gotta make up for that first. It's gonna be a while. Obra from the former Dark Guild Raventail kidnapped Wendy.
At midnight, King Toma e Fiore donned his persona as the mascot Matto, announcing the beginning of the games, and each team entered the Sky Labyrinth. Anyone who made it through would be official competitors.
Yeah, so the mascot's like this pumpkin man, and it turns out to have been the king the whole time. He's the one wearing the suit.
Yep.
So Elfman had to substitute for Wendy at the last minute when she didn't show.
Hundreds of guilds participated with 2 teams each and lost, including Twilight Ogre. Only the first 8 that made it through qualified.
Sabretooth, led by their master Giamma, finished in first place with their team of the Light Dragon Slayer Sting, the Shadow Dragon Slayer Rogue, the Molding Wizard Refuse Lore, the Lightning God Slayer Orga Nagagir, and the Celestial Wizard Yukino Agria.
Team Fairy Tale B finished in second.
Oh, wait. This is something we should mention.
What?
Each team could participate with 2 teams. Fairy Tale was the only one where both of their teams ended up qualifying. So yeah, Fairy Tale Team B finished, as you were saying.
Yeah. Finished in second place with their team of Gagio, Loxus, Mare Jane, Juvia, and Mystigan. Makarov arranged for Jalal to disguise himself as his Daedalus counterpart, Mystigan, technically a violation of the rules if he blew his cover.
Raventail, led by their master Ivan, finished in third place, with their team of the Puppeteer Obra, Needle Wizard Newel Pudding, Crimson Hair Wizard Flare Corona, Mimic Wizard Kurohebi, and Alexei, who was Ivan in disguise, secretly violating the rules. So, Fairy Tail's violating the rules too.
Well, technically, but he might as well be Mystigan.
It's a less of a violation, I guess, but he is a criminal.
Yeah. All right, so Lamia Scale, led by their master Uba Basama, finished in fourth place with their team of Jura, Leon, Yuka, Toby, and Sky God Slayer Sharia Blundy, who is also Sherry's younger cousin.
Blue Pegasus, led by their master Bob, finished in fifth place with their team of Ichia, Hibiki, Eve, Ren, and Nichia, who kept his identity secret in a bunny costume.
Mermaid Hill finished in sixth place with their team of the Swordswoman Kagura, Mikazuchi, Vegetable Wizard Beth Vanderwood, Web Wizard Arana Webb, Gravity Wizard Risley Law, and Melania, newly recruited.
She's also kind of become a nudist. She just walks around in her underwear and a cloak.
Yep.
Quattro Cerberus, led by their master Goldmine, finished in seventh place with their team of Rocker, Jagger, Noberly, Sems, and Warcry. You don't gotta worry about them.
Team Fairy Tale A finished in last place with their team of Natsu, Gray, Lucy, Urza, and Elfman.
Just barely made it. Over the course of the next few days, the teams competed in many various challenges and fights. On the last day, Fairy Tale won the Grand Magic Games with all members standing.
However, the kingdom had been storing the magic energy of the fighters in the Eclipse Gate located in the castle. On the last day of the games, someone activated the Eclipse Gate, accidentally opening a gate to the past and releasing 10,000 dragons into the world.
The past is invading. The dragons slaughtered most of humanity. Levi wrote final notes for Fairy Tale. Natsu sacrificed himself to save Lucy. After the initial carnage, Lucy managed to reopen the Eclipse Gate by altering the Zodiac keys as she traveled back in time a few days to try to warn the kingdom. So all this happened in a few days.
Dragons once again ruled the world, and Acnologia revealed himself and took back the title King of Dragons. While nearly extinct, some humans survived.
In X792, Gray became an ice demon slayer and killed Frosh, Rogue's X-Seed, his pet kitty.
Rogue went berserk and killed Gray.
After a falling out with his partner, Rogue also killed Sting and stole his power, becoming also a White Shadow Dragon Slayer.
Rogue wanted to slay Acnologia and become the king of dragons, but he wasn't strong enough. He learned dragon supremacy magic, but it wouldn't work as Acnologia had already taken control of the other dragons. He resorted to using the Eclipse Gate, but Lucy had drained it of all magic, and now there were no more humans to refill it.
Yeah, because that's what the Magic games were doing, was building up magic from the fights there to power the Eclipse Gate. And with everyone dead, he has to wait for it to slowly recharge. So in X798, after waiting years for the Eclipse Gate to slowly recharge, he managed to use it to go back in time.
X791. Oh, wait.
In X798,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
in X798, after waiting years for the Eclipse Gate to slowly recharge, he managed to use it to go back in time, arriving days before Lucy did. So Lucy was from the future only a few days and arrived a few days in the past. Rogue was years in the future and arrived like a week before. So this is bad. This is very, very, very bad.
Yep. In X791, Future Rogue arrived in the capital Fiore. He approached Princess Hisui Fiore and told her of the future, manipulating her into releasing the Eclipse Gate early so that he could control the dragons this time around. He didn't change the outcome of the games, though, and he used his foreknowledge of their outcome to make her trust him.
Gray, Beth, Jaeger, Nulpudding, Eve, Rufus, and Juvia competed in the first challenge in a City of Illusions. Rufus won, putting Sabretooth in the lead.
Lucy versus Flare. Flare won by secretly holding Asuka hostage.
Asuka was Alzak and Biska's young daughter, who they had had during the 7-year gap. Rin versus Arana. Rin won.
Warcry versus Orga. Orga won.
Jalal versus Jura. Jura won when Jalal nearly blew his cover by almost winning and destroying the entire stadium. So Meredy had to use her sensory link magic to knock him out to prevent him from blowing his cover.
Bacchus substituted in Warcry's place in Quattro Cerberus.
Kurohebi, Ichia, Yuka, Risley, Bacchus, Sting, Gajiel, and Natsu competed in the second day's challenge in a chariot race. Bacchus won. All of the Dragon Slayers get motion sickness. That was a terrible idea.
Toby versus Kurohebi. Kurohebi won.
Elfman versus Bacchus. Elfman won, and they had made a bet that resulted in Quattro Cerberus being renamed to Quattro Puppy. Why would you make that bet?
Wendy substituted in Elfman's place in Fairy Tale A.
Miss Fiore Ginny Relight substituted in Rin's place for Blue Pegasus.
Mary Jane versus Jenny. Mary Jane won, and they had made a bet that resulted in Jenny having to pose nude for Sorcerer magazine.
Yeah, she didn't seem to want to do it, but when she gave her word, so she actually did do it. And she made a ton of money off of it, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Yukino, Pisces, and Ophiuchus versus Kagura. Kagura won. They fought to the death, except Kagura spared Yukino's life, dishonoring her before Sabretooth.
Giami forced Yukino to strip naked in front of Sabretooth and exiled her from the guild.
That was just terrible. That's so abusive. Natsu and Happy found Yukino and attacked Sabretooth's quarters in retaliation for what they did to her. Territory magic wizard Minerva Orland fended them off.
Minerva substituted in Yukino's place in Sabretooth.
Minerva's just horrible. She's the daughter of Yema, the master. Kana substituted in Mystigan's place in Fairy Tale B because the Magic Council came to the games and Jalal didn't want to participate when they were nearby.
Urza, Kana, Miliana, Nobarley, Hibiki, Orga, Jura, and Obra competed in the third day's challenge in Pandemonium Monster Gauntlet. Urza defeated all of them and won. Kana used fairy glitter to get second place.
Oh, I loved that callback to the earlier season, how Kana's like a glass cannon now. She may not be able to win in like an endurance fight, but she's like, I have like a magic cannon on my wrist that will one-hit kill you. So, Miliana versus Sams. Miliana won.
Eve versus Rufus.
Rufus won, of course.
Loxus versus Alexi.
The fight was an illusion created by Ivan. In reality, the entire Raventail guild ganged up on Loxus, as Ivan asked Loxus where the Lumen Histoire was, which is what he was actually after. Loxus, however, beat them all and revealed the illusion.
Raventail was disqualified from the rest of the games.
That's a lot more cheaty than Fairy Tale was doing. Fairy Tale only cheated in one technical aspect. You used the wrong alternate universe version of of Mystigan. I could imagine Fairy Tale being like, okay, you want to do a DNA test? It'll match. Kidding. Anyway, Windy versus Sharia. Neither one, resulting in a tie.
Kagura and Miliana discovered that Mystigan was actually Jalal, and they plotted vengeance against him while being surprised that Fairy Tail harbored him.
Oh, this was so hard because Urza meeting Miliana, it's the first time she's seen her since that whole Tower of Heaven incident. And they're like, oh, Urza's like, I can't believe you're here. I'm so glad to see you. And Miliana's like, oh, I'm glad to see you. I can't wait to compete, right? Yeah, I can't wait to compete either. What else is going on? Miliana's like, oh, well, I'm teaming up with Kagura, who was another orphan slave, and we want to get revenge on the evil slave master dictator Jalal. Won't that be great? And Urza's like, yeah, he's not on my team helping me, and I kind of have a crush on him, and he's really just misunderstood. He was brainwashed. Don't hurt me. Okay, Urza would never say that, but that's kind of like the tension there, you know?
Fairy Tail relaxed at a water park where Elfman and Evergreen secretly went on a date. Flare approached Lucy and apologized to her. They all destroyed the place.
I have to mention that Jalal went to the water park to be with Urza. And even though he was completely like his swimsuit, he still wore the Mystigan mask. And like I've seen memes of this online where it's just like identity secured.
It's really funny.
So future Lucy arrived at the capital of Fiore. She approached Jalal and told him the truth about the future, contradicting the rumors that future Rogue was spreading. He started telling some mistruths.
Lucy, Juvia, Minerva, Jenny, Rocker, and some others competed in the 4th Day's Challenge in the naval battle, a floating water sphere. Minerva viciously won, torturing Lucy, and the challenge was ended early.
For fairness and better matchmaking, the Royal Committee running the games decided to merge the two Fairy Tail teams for the remainder of the games while keeping the points from Team A.
Natsu, Gray, Urza, Gagio, and Loxus represented the merged Fairy Tail team.
Ichia and Nichia versus Bacchus and Rocker. Ichia won somehow.
Leon and Yuka versus Kagura and Miliana, neither won, resulting in a tie.
Natsu and Gajiel versus Sting and Rogue. Natsu won, but the battlefield was partially destroyed. Gajiel fell into the depths of the dragon graveyard beneath them.
Yukino joined the royal military under Arcadios, who requested her because she was a celestial wizard.
The 5th day in the games was just a reprieve.
Sabretooth's Master Giamma threatened to remove Sting and Rogue from the guild for their failure. Sting's ex-seed Lecter tried to defend him as a member of the guild. Giamma was furious as he hadn't approved a small cat entering the guild.
Master Giamma annihilated Lector, causing Sting to fall into despair. Sting then attacked Giamma, killed him, and claimed he would become the new guildmaster following the games.
However, Minerva had used her magic to store Lecter in her pocket void at the last moment, and she used Lecter to blackmail Sting, claiming she'd return him if he won the games to prove he was capable of being the guildmaster.
Team Natsu returned to the dragon graveyard that Gajiel discovered, and Wendy used a spell she learned that allowed them to commune with the spirit of Zirconis, the Jade Dragon, who told them about the War of the Dragons long ago.
Arcadios, a high-ranking knight of Fiore, introduced himself to Fairy Tail. He told them about his plan to use the Eclipse Gate to go back in time and stop Seraph before he became immortal, and Acnologia before he became a dragon.
Quite ambitious. You have no idea what's going on here. Darton, the Minister of Defense, was mad that Arcadios had told them the plan. He arrested Arcadios, Yukino, and Lucy. The king said that if Fairy Tail won the games, he would allow Lucy to be freed. I'm counting that.
Yeah,
that's 8.
That's 8.
Yeah.
Jenny substituted in Nichia's place in Blue Pegasus.
Juvia substituted in Natsu's place in Fairy Tail, because part of Fairy Tail was sent to rescue Lucy while another part remained in the games.
All teams participated in the final challenge called the Grand Magic War Game, which was a grand showdown between all of them, earning points for defeating enemies and bonus points for defeating designated team leaders.
Mavis made a plan for the Fairy Tail to follow. Remember, she's the tactician, right? It required that they save their energy and don't move until many of the teams were already knocked out.
Quattro Puppy was eliminated quickly.
Hibiki, Eve, and Rin versus Beth and Arana. Blue Pegasus, they won.
Kagura versus Yuka and Toby. Kagura won.
Urza versus Jenny. Urza won.
Gajiel and Gray versus Hibiki, Eve, and Ren. Fairy Tail won.
Jura versus Ichia. Jura won, eliminating Blue Pegasus.
Sharia versus Risley. Sharia won.
Princess Fiore used the Zodiac keys from the captured celestial wizards to open the Eclipse Gate herself.
Natsu, Wendy, and Mary Jane freed Lucy and Yukino, but it was a trap. They were all dropped into a deep dungeon called the Abyss Palace to die by the princess.
It's where they throw all the traitors. Yay, monarchy, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, due process, huh? Due process.
Stop it, okay.
Gray versus Rufus. Gray won.
The Garo Knights, secret Black Ops executioners hired by the princess, attacked those in the Abyss Palace. They included the Scythe Executioner Kama, Plant Executioner Cosmos, Paper Executioner Kamika, Terrain Effect Executioner Usuki, and Acid Executioner Nepa.
Natsu versus Kama. Natsu won.
Wendy versus Cosmos. Wendy won.
Panther Lily versus Nepa. Panther Lily won.
Mary Jane versus Kamika. Mary Jane won.
Very efficient fighting sequence. They just kind of knocked them out one by one. Lucy and her spirits, Yukino and her spirits, and Arcadios versus Usuke.
Lucio and Yukino won, but Arcadios was severely wounded.
Urza versus Kagura versus Minerva. This is a three-way fight. Neither won, but Minerva revealed she had captured Miliana and used her as a hostage.
Of course. Team Natsu encountered future Lucy in the Abyss Palace, who told them of what she experienced.
Urza versus Kagura. Urza won, but Minerva stabbed Kagura, earning the points and eliminating Mermaid Heel.
Future Rogue used his position in Rogue's shadow to possess him in his fight against Gajiel.
Yeah, so future Rogue is possessing present Rogue. Mm-hmm. Okay. Gajiel versus Rogue. Gajiel won by absorbing the Shadow Dragon Slayer magic.
Team Natsu and future Lucy fought their way through the entire military in the castle and the Garo Knights who had regrouped.
Loxus versus Orga versus Jura.
Loxus won.
Yeah. 3 tough, big muscle men.
Gray and Juvia versus Leon and Sharia.
Gray and Juvia won, eliminating Lamia Scale.
Urza versus Minerva.
Urza won.
Fairy Tail versus Sting.
Sting surrendered willingly. It was the entire guild. He was the only one that remained, and he just couldn't do it anymore. He was only like doing this to save his cat. And he just kind of broke down.
Mm-hmm. Miliana brought Lecter to Sting to reunite them.
Aww, that was nice. It's kind of nice seeing how much the Dragon Slayers love their kitties. Mm-hmm. I love my kitty.
I know.
With this victory, Fairy Tail won the Grand Magic Games, with all members standing, surprising the princess that Future Rogue had been correct in that regard.
Future Rogue surprised Team Natsu in the castle, and he took out the military and the Garo Knights.
The princess and Arcadios negotiated and realized that there were 2 people from the future, and one had been misleading them all along. They feared the story from the future that 10,000 dragons were about to attack.
Future Rogue killed Future Lucy out of anger.
Oh, that was so sad. Mm-hmm. It's so infrequent that real death happens in Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
But this was a real death.
Well, they had to get rid of Future Lucy somehow.
They could have had 2 Lucys. They could have.
No, they would not have. Their entire series focuses on having the same exact cast, so there's no way they would add a brand new main character to the cast by having an extra Lucy.
Well, you know how Lucy's whole thing is, I want to write a book, but also I want to go on adventures. One Lucy could have done one thing, the other Lucy could have done the other thing.
Yeah, I guess, but I did not expect Future Lucy to survive.
Future Lucy was a much better character because she had experienced loss like no other. Mm-hmm. The king asked the guilds to protect against the oncoming danger when the prophesized eclipse occurred.
Natsu versus Future Rogue won.
The princess convinced Lucy and Yukino to open the eclipse gate to stop the dragons, but they were surprised to find out that they had actually instead opened the gateway to the past and dragons began to emerge from it.
Lucy and Yukino...
Don't you understand?
Yeah.
Again...
They were tricked.
We did the thing to prevent the thing. Oh, you wanted us to do that all along. Oh, no.
Yep. Lucy and Yukino summoned all of their Zodiac spirits to close the gate, but 7 dragons made it through, still enough to wipe them all out.
All right, so at least we prevented end of the world, but we might still have, end of the kingdom, so we might want to fix that.
Yep.
The dragons that made it through were Atlas Flame, the Dark Dragon, Levia, Mother Glare, the Rock Dragon, Scissor Runner, and Zirconis. Future Rogue used dragon supremacy magic that he had learned to control them and attack the country.
Dorenbolt secretly freed Cobra from prison. With Natsu, Gajeel, Wendy, Loxus, Sting, Rogue, and Cobra, there were now 7 Dragon Slayers to fight the 7 dragons.
Mother Glare laid hundreds of eggs that hatched immediately into baby dragons. All of the guilds began working together to fight them off.
Everyone fought off the dragons, but they were no match for them, even with the Dragon Slayers.
Yeah, so that plan was kind of pointless. Natsu tried to fight Atlas Flame, but they talked and discovered Atlas Flame personally knew Igneel, Natsu's adopted father. Atlas Flame reconsidered killing them all and decided to help Natsu. It's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Murdering all of you humans? Maybe my buddy Igneel wouldn't be happy about that. Maybe I shouldn't do that.
Natsu and Atlas Flame versus Future Rogue and Mother Glare. Both sides stalemated.
The Dark Dragon set Rogue aside, as Future Rogue wanted to absorb the powers of his past self at a later time. He needed his past self to stay alive for now.
Urza, Jalal, Miliana, and Altair discussed their past together as Kagura and Miliana were outraged at Urza for giving them.
Gray sacrificed himself to save Juvia, Leon, and Meredy from the baby dragons. He was shot through the chest.
Bacchus and Joy were fatally wounded, and some other members of Fairy Tail, like Macau, were surrounded by the baby dragons.
So everything's looking bleak. They're losing, right? So Altair used the forbidden spell in the Arc of Time that Hades had taught her in the hopes of reversing time to undo the carnage of the dragons. She knew she would die in the process, but hoped to save everyone.
Altair's...
Can I do this?
Okay.
So Altair's body crumpled and burned as time reversed a single minute. And she lost consciousness as she looked at the clock, confirming only a minute had regressed. She had given her entire life to rewind time a single minute.
Mm-hmm. However, that minute saved lives, as everyone in the world could remember what happened 1 minute in the future. For most, this didn't matter, but Gray avoided his death, and so did the other members of the guilds.
Lucy read about a plan in Future Lucy's notebook that could defeat Future Rogue. She told the princess that they needed to destroy the Eclipse Gate, which would then remove any beings that had recently gone through it.
Natsu and Atlas Flame versus Future Rogue and Mother Glare. Good guys won.
Future Rogue and Mother Glare crashed into the Eclipse Gate, destroying it.
With the Eclipse Gate destroyed, the dragons returned to the pass. Atlas Flame bade farewell. Zirconis took the name of the Jade Dragon, inspired by the princess's Jade theme. Future Rogue returned to his alternate timeline.
Future Lucy's corpse returned to the alternate timeline, but her soul arrived in heaven, where she reunited with Future Natsu and her other guildmates. Also, heaven is real! Heaven is real!
Yeah, they had that scene where she met.
We gotta go do religion now! Heaven's real!
You're joking. Alright, come on.
All the guilds attended a party hosted by the princess to celebrate victory.
Sting reformed the Sabretooth Guild as its new master, and he invited Yukino to rejoin.
Dorenbolt used his memory magic to wipe the memories of the Magic Council so they wouldn't take action against the royalty using dark magic in the Eclipse Gate.
Cobra willingly...
That seems corrupt to me. Like, maybe...
Well, because otherwise they would have... Yeah.
I guess they were tricked, but still, like...
Okay,
this
come on,
is so pro-monarchy.
We're almost done. Cobra willingly approached Dorenbolt and returned to prison.
Altair survived, but she was now an elderly woman nearly dying of old age. She wrote a letter to say farewell to Gray, Jalal, and Meredy.
The town of Magnolia all pitched in to rebuild the guild hall as a welcome gift for the Fairy Tail members when they returned home.
Mavis and Zareth encountered each other for the first time in centuries, and threatened each other about whether humanity deserved to live or die.
And that is the end of the Grand Magic Games arc.
That was a good arc, honestly.
Yep.
Time travel, awesome.
Yep. All
okay,
right.
We gotta be done here. Wow, only 3 arcs, really 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess that's how it is.
All right.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Kira.
Bye.
Bye.